discussion. Okay, so just to talk about some of the challenges that came in, there's just really obvious ones about this level of youth engagement, or at least for us as an organisation. The first one is, convincing other members of the organisation that this was actually a worthwhile thing to do. That the risks were kind of worth taking on board. The capacity that it creates, it's considerably more time consuming, obviously, than just kind of showing some designs to a few young people and saying, what do you think? Facing the fact that young people come up with a lot more challenging questions often when they don't maybe have the same level of drive or wish to just get something finished kind of as quickly as possible. Within that, there is the reality that you've got to give up a certain amount of control over what you're actually doing in order to actually make it a worthwhile engagement, and that can be difficult for everyone. There's been considerable difficulty at times engaging with harder to reach groups, which is a problem with LifeTracks. We're working with our partners to try and balance that, so what we're doing is using, for example, the consultation as both a place where individuals can sign up, but also organisations like local Rathbone centres, skill centres, foyers, so that people can then receive the questions, hear what questions we're talking about, and then work within smaller kind of youth organisations to actually reply to us and have that posted as well. And also some of the specific challenges of working with people as volunteers, which I'm sure Patrick will kind of touch on to a degree. Again, the demographics, the reality is that some of the target audience of LifeTracks are highly unlikely to be attracted by the idea of being volunteers. So the fact that we took the decision that this is a volunteering position creates another barrier that we had to kind of look at to actually get through to people. And just the management of volunteer roles, we have a really specific duty to everyone that we call a volunteer at YouthNet, as I'm sure everyone else's organisations do, to not just set out and use them for the particular thing at the start, but to evolve those roles to kind of make it a worthwhile experience, to kind of really engage young people, and that at the end they find it really, really rewarding. And all of that again just relates to the amount of capacity we have and the reality of the time that's actually available to do it. And back to the buy-in. If people don't want to engage with that amount of time, then it becomes quite difficult. But then the benefits are definitely a more engaged user base. One of the real things community building and an engaged user base, the idea is that we can move people will hopefully move from Ning once the website, the community sections are actually launched, to become actual engaged members of the final website. So already at launch, you've got that group of people that want to be involved, feel like they've actually created it, feel like they've owned it, feel like they want to talk with their friends about it and kind of promote the website. There's a transparency to it. I mean, personally, I prefer everything to be as transparent as possible. When you're putting every project document up on the web for people to look at, especially for hundreds of kind of young people not directly connected to your organisation to look at, you inevitably are far more transparent than you're going to be otherwise. There's a sense checking there. You get that kind of constant attempt to kind of just go over even the minutiae of what you're working on, to see whether you're just making some real logical leaps that young people aren't doing, or a particular target audience don't quite understand. And related to that is just that you can see whether people are actually enjoying what you're doing. You can see whether they really like it or not. And again, just that idea of just building excitement for what you're actually doing at the end. Not only has it been incredibly rewarding for a lot of the young people involved in the process, there's the fact that they're also excited about the final product. And it's kind of very different from a normal launch we would do in this organisation, to know that we've already shown it to people and they already like it and they already really enjoy it, and then you can just, with a lot more confidence, just kind of go ahead and actually launch what you do in the end. And it's the right thing to do. It felt like the right thing to do all the way through it. It feels better, it feels more enjoyable, it feels like something worthwhile, and it's something that's led on to the way we're going to be working with the site.org and the way we're going to be kind of developing Do It and a lot of our future services, even on a much greater scale than this, where I think in 6 months we've probably made a huge, huge number of steps to change the organisation's view of how engagement can work with young people and what level of involvement they can have. And that's me.